Who's that?
It's Jack.
What's his story?
But I don't think he really has a story. If it's busy, he collects glasses and we give him a pint, but...
OK, well, you can stay for now. We'll review that situation in a month.
OK.
What about you?
No, I should stay, really.
No, I mean, what's your journey? I'm guessing this wasn't your first career choice. So, what brought you here, Darren?
Hugh.
Whatever.
Well, it was my father's pub. Well, it is my father's pub, but he's ill, so I'm just here to run things, you know, till he gets back up on his feet. Listen, I think it's great, you know, that you've come so well prepared. But I just think that my dad might be a bit resistant to some of the things that, like, just for one thing, I don't think there's really room for a climbing wall.
Oh. There is another option here. We could just ignore all that, and you could just give me the job.
Would that be all right?
Well, that is Leonora as Annie the ghost trying to get a job in a pub.
Yes.
Explain.
Well, when we meet Annie at the beginning of the second series, she's done everything she's done in the first series, and she's actually visible now to human beings, so she thinks she'll embrace that by going and getting herself a job.
Yes, because you don't look very ghostly.
No, at this point I can be seen by other human beings, and Annie has always had an ambition to work behind the bar.
OK. You live with a couple of flatmates.
Yes.
You're not the only weirdo in the flat. So who do you live with, and what's their dark secret?
Annie shares a flat with Mitchell, who is a vampire, as you do, and George, who's a werewolf. So,
OK.
Yeah.
So one of them, I mean, the vampire, is he just a vampire at night, and the werewolf's only a werewolf at full moon? Is that how it
yes,
works?
George is only a werewolf once a month. But no, Mitchell is always a vampire.
You say this in a very matter-of-fact way, and it's that kind of matter-of-factness that makes it work and makes it very funny in places, isn't it? Because it's, you know, they get on with their normal lives and they worry about normal things and try to get jobs, and then by night you often transform.
Well, I think that's the kind of the uniqueness of the show. Being human is obviously the name of the show, and that's what the three of them are trying to do as much as possible. There's lots of supernatural dramas out at the moment, and I think they are all embracing their vampiric or werewolf or ghostly or whatever is supernatural, but the three of us are kind of really trying desperately to kick against that and live as human beings and try and stay as human as possible.
Yeah, it really taps into a vein, so to speak. At the moment, I mean, Twilight's massively popular, vampires are the in thing, True Blood, all these. I mean, what suddenly becomes so popular about this whole thing?
I'm not sure. It does seem to have just been inundated with I think because it's visually very exciting. For one's imagination, it can go anywhere. There's not really rules here because you can make up the world. So as a creative kind of medium, it lends itself to that completely. Vampires are very sexy. Wolves are very hairy. Well, yes, apparently they are. Apparently they're quite...
There's kind of overtones.
They've got that kind of dangerous thing going on, and so I just think there's no rules, and it lets your imagination go crazy. There's colour and dark side, and I suppose there's always that sort of parallel with addiction, of the addiction to blood and the addiction to, you know, any substance we have. So
best script line of the year I've seen so far was in this episode that's going out first, and there's a couple of vampires late at night in the city centre, and one of them says to the other, "I'm hungry, should we grab someone on the way home?"
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Is it fun to make?
Oh my gosh, so much fun. Yeah, it's the show. The people behind the show, the writing, everything about it just makes it a joy. It's a really...
You say it's fun, and you say you found it funny, but it is also very dark. I mean, it's scary. It's not for children, is it?
No, not for children. And I think this series definitely is a bit darker. All of us are kind of really exploring our supernatural side, and
well, if you're not scaring the pants off us, you're designing pants. In Material Girl, this is a new fashion drama that's coming out. Let's have a look at you in that. You're starring as Ali, who's trying to make her mark. Let's have a look.
You like it?
Are these pockets?
You hate it, don't you?
Well, it's not to my taste. I'm sorry, I'm Ali Redcliffe.
Go on.
Well, it's the fabric's wrong. It should be plain silk, cut on the bias, and then you get lovely contours. It could be quite sexy.
Dorota, is she right?
It's ugly.
Oh, thanks for telling me.
I'm machinist, I saw. You want a comment? It's extra.
I'm sorry.
I didn't design it.
Oh, so you're not...
Tomas, no, I'm his business partner. Sorry, was that a style choice?
No.
Brilliant. So was it your New Year's resolution to be in not one but two great dramas?
I don't know about New Year's resolution. I think it's always something I've secretly prayed for and fingers crossed. So lovely.
So did this come out of you being spotted in Being Human? How did this come about?
I actually auditioned for Material Girl while I was filming the first series of Being Human. And I remember Russell, who plays George in Being Human, helped me with my audition, and I ran from Bristol down to London for the casting. So I suppose, yeah, it helps when people know what you're doing and have seen your work a bit, but the show hadn't actually aired when I auditioned.
And the fashion industry, absolutely perfect for a programme like this, because there's so many sort of larger-than-life characters and lovely visual situations, aren't there?
It's brilliant. The colours, the fabrics, again, creatively, the catwalk shows, it's like almost like theatre, live theatre.
Yeah,
great.
and is it something you're interested in? I mean, obviously you look fantastic. Are you interested in fashion? Have you got any experience in that, or did you talk to designers?
Oh yes, there was a lot of homework and support from the producers on the show. That we went behind the scenes of fashion houses, and we had real models on the show, and they were always very insightful of what catwalks are like and designers are like. So I had lots of research and people that are actually in the industry to give me an insight, because it's very different. And in terms of my own fashion sense, I think I've always been just very creative. I think it's a lovely way to express yourself. Sometimes you feel like this or that, and especially as I started getting into acting, I think I used to dress for my auditions. So I used to travel on the train in all different types of characters, and I liked seeing how people react to you differently and how it makes you feel and walk. So I think fashion is very important, and definitely an expression of yourself and how you are and what you feel about yourself, and it can change how you feel about yourself. So it's it's always been an interesting point for me.
Yeah. Well, the fashion today, woolly hat, woolly scarf,
yes,
woolly gloves.
And that's when you're inside.
And a big coat. Lenora, lovely to see you. Thanks very much indeed. You can see Being Human on Sunday 9:30 on BBC Three, and Material Girl starts BBC One on the 14th of January at 8 p.m. Get your Radio Times out and your highlighter.
Exactly. Your family must be so proud. They're going to run out of videotape.